Hello everyone, welcome to IASBABA. Today we'll discuss about the ethics paper 2022. Guys, I'm just going to help you out in analyzing the question and how exactly your structure of arguments must be. Because ethics answer vary from student to student, examples also vary from student to student. So I'll give you the approach and from where they have picked it and what is the essence of the question, because ethics and essay whatever we discuss, ultimately what you write will be completely dependent upon your way of approaching it. So let me just go with what are all the things that are present. So guys, before I come to that, I just want to give you a small analysis of the paper. The paper was really lengthy, but it was very much structured, because rather than arguing in other aspects, here the paper is literally asking you to stick to the word limit, and the questions are also subdivided this time rather than being given widely. Whatever they used to expect from the question, that is being clearly communicated this time. And the question paper looks lengthy, especially to read. Again, it took a lot of time for us to read outside the examination hall. You can imagine the pressure that students would have undergone there. So, one of the most important thing I would say always to you, ethics paper must be written within 3 hours, even during your practice. Don't go for 1 hour, 1.5 hour regularly. So let us say 1 month or 2 months before your mains exam, at least, if you can write three hours papers, that would really be helpful. So this is the first aspect. So let us get into this. Wisdom lies in knowing what to reckon with and what to overlook. An officer being engrossed with the periphery, ignoring the core issues before him, is not rare in bureaucracy. Do you agree that such preoccupation of an administrator leads to travesty of justice to the cause of effective service delivery and good governance? Critically evaluate. So, guys, I just want you to know the key words in the question here. The first most important thing is, see, the context is this. That is, the bureaucrat is just looking at the periphery rather than the core issues. So, that is the context. Fine. But the question is not about that. The question is about travesty of justice. Can it be delivered? Right? And will it lead to effective service delivery and good governance? So, here the core thing that you need to focus is, whenever a bureaucrat tries to address a scenario on the basis of what it looks outside. For example, when there is a rape case or when there is any untoward incidents in the society, rather than addressing the core issue, if the bureaucrat start focusing on the periphery, what is the periphery? What would be the image of the police? What would be the image of the society? Would it lead to any other complications? So, if you're more worried about them rather than addressing the core issue, then the way you think about the problem and the way you come out with solution and the way you govern the people will be compromised. So I want you to give, in these type of questions, first you need to talk about two aspects. What is travesty of justice, and what do you understand by effective service delivery and good governance together? And then give examples to that, right? So give one example where a person, if he is looking at the periphery, how would he look at the issue? And if the person is looking at the core issue, how would he address it? Now, apart from intellectual competency and moral qualities, empathy and compassion are some of the other vital attributes that facilitate the civil servants to be more competent in tackling the crucial issues or taking critical decisions. Now, here they are talking about, in the syllabus, if I quickly relate it, it is with respect to public service values. And in that, You have honesty, impartiality, integrity, everything is correct. But what is more important? Here I want you to come or bring in Gandhiji's ideology, where when we are talking about bureaucratic values and democratic values, Gandhiji said that issues like honesty, integrity, impartiality, they are all required for everyone, irrespective of whether you are from India, US, UK, whoever bureaucrat you are, it is important. What is more important for you is, trying to be having empathetic values and compassion towards the weaker sections of the society, because in India, seeing all the citizens to be equal is not possible. The reason is there are poor people, uneducated people, who do not have basic information. They will be doing mistake. Now, this is a question about legal versus ethical. Legally correct, ethically correct. So most of the people think if you are legally correct, it's enough. No need to be ethically correct always. So you have to give example from the class. We have clearly spoken about legal versus ethical. So that particular topic you need to elaborate here is the rules and regulations provided to all the civil servants are same. Such a beautiful question, guys. Yet there is difference in the performance. Positive minded officers are able to interpret the rules and regulations in favor of the case and achieve success, whereas negative minded officers are unable to achieve it by interpreting the same against the case. Discuss with illustrations. Now, guys, this is a question on attitude. Positive minded, negative minded, it is about the mindset of the officers, and it is about attitude clearly. So, two examples. One problem, how a person will see; another problem, how the other person will see within the rules and regulations. Now, if I look at the case of population, right? If I look at the case of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, and I was actually looking at an article. Let us talk about feminism. There was an article where one person had written that it's very, very essential for us to, like, you know, uh, remove patriarchy in the society. Until and unless you remove patriarchy, bring revolution, remove the things, it's not possible. On the other hand, the other person had told, see, from 75 years, if you see, we have done enormous progress, but there is still more to go. The pace needs to be increased, but the direction must not be changed. So every issue can be seen from different perspectives. You can also, they are specifically asking about civil servants, guys. You should not give examples of generic things. You should take up an issue. It may be about population, it may be about groundwater, right? It may be about anything. You need to take a problem, and you have to talk about how the rules talk about it. With the same rules, you need to see how it looks positive and how it looks negative. It is purely about attitude based case study, guys. We are talking about the bureaucratic attitude in performing the things. It is believed that adherence to ethics in human actions. See, the question itself is directly from ethics in human actions. The topic ethics in human interface would ensure in smooth functioning of an organization or system. If so, what does ethics seek to promote in human life? How do ethical values assist in the resolution of conflicts faced by him in his day to day functioning? So, it's very simple. What does ethics try to promote in human life? This is a very basic question, right? It tries to ensure that most of the human actions are always correct, not only according to themselves, but also according to the society where they are present. So, an ethical life normally makes a person to lead a happy life because he will not be guilt from within, nor he will have the guilt of doing wrong from outside as well. How do ethical values assist in resolution of conflict? Normally, every individual, while doing certain actions, there will be certain conflicts they face, which will be at the personal level, professional level, or at value system level. At that point of time, ethics helps them in resolving the conflict ethically, which helps them to lead a smoother and happy life. So these are all the things that we regularly discuss in class, guys. So I don't want to elaborate such things. So guys, this is a very okay. There is a change in the way the question is asked with respect to what we call as quotes, guys. Earlier, the questions were, "What do you understand by this?" And second thing, "What is the relevance of this in the present context?" was the question. But in this particular paper, they are asking you, what do you understand? Right? Like quotations mean, this is very general. Give examples to explain. Now the example can be historical example or it can be recent examples. Anything would be fine because they are not specifically talking it about. Explain it to the present context. Let me tell you, this year paper, they have made it very easy to you, and this paper helps you to understand the syllabus of ethics in a proper manner, guys. Trust us, whatever we try to tell you in the class, even if you people are not in a position to understand it, now by looking at the questions, when you start recollecting the sessions, you will get to know how exactly this was dealt in the class. Ethics is knowing the difference between what you have the right to do and what is right to do. See the beauty. Fundamental rights has given you certain things. I have a right to practice my religion. I have a right to do certain things. But should I do it? Now, let me give a clear cut example from Code of Conduct, which says that individuals or government officers have a right to do their religious things because Constitution provides them. But as a civil servant, when they follow such things publicly, there is going to be a fear in the minds of other religions that this guy is biased towards a particular religion. So I have a right to follow my religion. But is it right to do so? Because what type of opinion that I am going to give to the other community because of just my individual right to do so? Now, this you can see with respect to Bollywood and other aspects, where people, when they tell I have a right to talk and when they criticize, what impact do they have on the society? So these things should come up, guys. If a country is to be corruption free and become a nation of beautiful minds, I strongly feel that there are three key societal members who can make a difference. They are father, mother, and teacher. So, guys, three important things. You try to say how education and family, educational institutions and family plays a very, very important role in ensuring that the country will be corruption free. You need to talk about the impact of education, impact of family on the individual in becoming corrupt free society, because society begins with the family. So you need to talk about how fathers deal, how mother teach you, and what teacher makes you to realize. That's why we always say, if father and mother are the parents, are the first teachers, then comes the actual teacher. And father and mother, than what they talk, how they actually do in their life, or what they actually do in their life, normally have impact on the children, right? Similarly, teachers have a great impact because we see kids, when they listen to teachers, and whatever the teacher tell logically, that remains in their mind. So that they're trying to talk here is, judge your success by what you had to give up in order to get it. Such a beautiful quote, guys. So Dalai Lama is trying to say, who is success and who is a failure normally depends upon what he achieved and what he lost in the process. If anyone can take everything together, let us talk about GDP, guys. We are talking about industrial development. We are talking about, economic progress in the society. But in the process of achieving that, what did we lose? In the process of achieving, like, literacy, in the process of achieving what we call as GDP growth, world power, what did you lose? In the process of achieving majoritarian rule, what did the world lose? So those things should come up. So such a beautiful quotes they have given. What do you understand by the term good governance? How far recent initiatives in terms of e-governance, steps taken by the state have helped the beneficiaries? Discuss with suitable examples. Yes, this is a topic taken directly from ARC report, second ARC report, where you have a topic on e-governance issues, and they have given examples of different states where, different states like in Karnataka, CET transfers, teachers transfers, right? In Andhra Pradesh they were talking about certain farmers or associations and all. This is purely taken from second ARC report. Online methodology is being used for day-to-day meetings, institutional approvals in the administration, and for teaching and learning in education sector. To the extent telemedicine in the health sector is getting popular with the approvals of the competent authority. No doubt it has advantages and disadvantages for for both the beneficiaries and the system at large. Describe and discuss the ethical issues involved in the use of online method, particularly to the vulnerable sections of the society. So, guys, whatever they are trying to tell here is not with respect to other aspects, but they are purely talking about the online method that people normally use, and will it help in the upliftment of the vulnerable sections of the society? First you need to identify who are the vulnerable sections of the society. It may be what we call as women, it may be rural people, right? So talk about them and try to tell what exactly does that mean to you. So that would be easier, guys. Fine. So now, Russia and Ukraine war is this is purely from ethics in international relations, where they are talking about the war and what are the side effects of the war, which you can easily write. The key words here, guys, 30 words each. Constitutional morality. What is the meaning of constitutional morality? Following the values which are present or given in the constitution is called as constitutional morality, guys. That is whatever values which are present in the preamble is what you need to look at. Conflict of interest, whenever there is personal interest versus professional interest, that is important. Probity in public life. Probity in public life basically means you are not only talking about, what we call as honesty, but it is also about integrity. So when you have honesty and integrity going side by side, then it will be very, very important, is what they're trying to tell. Challenges of digitalization. So there are negatives and positives. You can talk about the crime rates that are improving. Devotion to duty. Rather than doing multiple things at one time, it's very important to do one specific activity properly. Whistleblowers, guess this question is directly taken from ARC report. In ARC report, you have a question on whistleblowers. If you can look at that, that is more than enough, guys. And even this is about corporate social responsibility. Is it enough? Like, because they are doing lot of pollution. So is that enough? This is about ethics in corporate governance, which is also extremely important for you. Fine. So, guys, Wherever it is straightforward, I'm not entering into it. Now, let us take up the case study. I hope you all have the papers. I don't want to read here, but I'll just tell you what it is all about. Fine. So, guys, in the first case study, a person by name Prabhat is a vice president of a marketing company, right? At Sterling Electric Limited. They have been facing a lot of problems with respect to sales, and unfortunately, these people are able to get some issues. So, guys, I'm sorry, I'll just tell you in a brief manner. I was just trying to elaborate. So, yes, in this case study, they are talking about Prabhat, who is a vice president, and there is some financial issues with the companies. And now there is a lot of pressure on him, right? And they are telling that if you don't show results, then we are going to remove you. At that point of time, they were trying to get a deal from Ministry of Defense, and if that works, then the company can show success. But the office has told him that if you don't get the project, then you may be removed, and that particular thing might be shut down. And then when all this were happening, there was other guy from a rival company who comes to you for a position, and he says he has brought details what they are quoting for the Ministry of Defense case, and he will help in getting the document so that we can quote below them and get the tender, so that the company problems will be resolved and we will grow potentially. In this incident, what are the ethical issues involved in the case, right? So guys, very simple. You need to list out the ethical issues. What are all the ethical issues? One is company's financial status and the jobs of the employees working. Second ethical issue here is conflict of interest between personal values and professional values. Third, this is institutional corruption. You are not only doing it, but you will promote such culture in the future. At the same time, what is the guarantee of a person who is lack of integrity in the other person who is coming for the job? Why? Because today he is with you, he's getting the details from there. If tomorrow he goes to some other organization, he would be willing to do the same there as well. So your things he may take there. How can you trust a person without integrity? And another important ethical issue involved is skills, right? No self confidence. The company will set a precedence that you need to win the race in this particular manner. You can write n number, guys, don't worry. Critically examine the options available to Prabhat in the above situation. So you can say, let him take so that the company financial situation increases, his family position also will be better. Let him reject it completely. Take the relevant information, but do not bring the person on board, because he may do the same thing with his own company as well, right? So these options, which one will you choose? We will go by our own things. We will do it in a most perfect manner. So obviously everyone would have written similar aspects. So guys, this is a question about illegal migration, guys, which is happening from one state to another state in the bordering areas. And here there is a pressure from the government to withdraw the report, not the government but the higher official. But national security is more important than your personal job opportunities or growth. So, from that point of view, you will try to ensure that you are not going to give up. Now, see, guys, what are the ethical dilemmas being faced by Ramesh? You can actually bring this first, it's absolutely fine, but each one is for 5 marks, guys. They have not given in a proper order, guys. So, I would say go in the order. I don't want to discuss the answer because you will be aware what are the problems associated in each case. So, guys, this is a case about illegal mining, and a TV anchor is there, right, who has got critical information about this. But when he is going to give it to the media is not ready to accept because the MLA and other business people also have nexus here. At this point of time, they will offer you something. What will you do? So, guys, options are very simple, right? Critically evaluate, right, positives and negatives. What are the ethical dilemmas being faced here? One is, should we go with what the other opinions are all about, right? Should we stand by the values? Should we fight for our professional integrity? So, those aspects. This is a question purely on professional integrity. Um, this, if at all you people have further doubts, because see, I don't want to tell you what are all the options because you can frame options by yourself. Whatever I try to tell will be just elaborations of that. So, as I have already given one framework, I hope these things you can manage, guys. Just trying to tell you what type it is. That's it. So, guys, I think this time they have made all the case studies in such a way that, like, every officer has some problem in the family that he has to, if he takes any step, then the family might be compromised. So, that's where the things comes into picture, right? So, this is ethics in corporate governance, guys. So, business people in the name of profit, they are doing certain aspects which are going to affect. So you need to talk about ethics in corporate governance more, right? So this question, what are the ethical dilemmas being faced by you? Please don't write the same values. I want you to take from ethics in corporate governance case. Fine. And you see, they have asked what can be the consequences of overlooking the observations raised by the inspecting team. They have given a lot of clarity in the questions this time, guys, so that students can answer in a most effective manner. Now, guys, this is a question about empathy and compassion towards this. Here, the bus driver, whatever he has done, it might be in the case of anger. Uh, it must not be entertained for sure, but at the same time ensuring that his family is not suffering because of some emotional thing that he took decision of. For example, if someone dies due to accident, fine. If someone has died due to some other aspect, this is all lack of emotional intelligence in the people. So your main goal must be to ensure that. But I would say in such cases, if not paying, suggest less money, but also send a strict thing that, such behavior is not accepted in future. So that doesn't give any right, any officer or anyone to give right to behave like that, and have some emotional intelligence stuffs as well. So here, what is the ethical dilemma? On one side, if you are legally correct, you are not going to look at the family members and their problems in future, but but it is important to take care of the employees who work for our organization. Try to see what are all the other aspects that are available so that we can help the family. So, we know that loss of life can't be brought back, but at least some sort of justice can be provided. Here you need to talk about certain aspects of justice, like in this question. Yeah. So guys, here this is a very typical question and a very good question as well. Here they are telling, like there is environmental pollution control board and everyone is violating. So either you have two choices. One is, like to shut down everything, or the other one is to leave everything. So this is ethical dilemma question, guys, where the question is asked in a different manner, where they are talking about environment and development. If you focus on environment, development, jobs will be compromised. If you focus only on development and jobs, environment will be compromised. The median path here is give time, like warn them, take stricter, timely measures, and ensure that everyone will follow environmental control measures. Everyone is aware that if we close, it will be a problem for the livelihood, but we should give enough time frame and ensure that it is done. Today I'll give you examples, like where in coal based power plants, and in other aspect, this is a direct question from current affairs as well, guys, where today the government is facing the problem about implementing certain environmental related issues with thermal power plants and all. Even after giving repeated deadlines, people are violating it continuously. That's why we are all worried about this specific aspect. Fine. So this is a question of ethical dilemma where both are correct. So the intention is not to shut down industries, nor the intention is to promote environment, but to reduce the impact of both so that the sustainable development can happen with targets that are being achieved in a stricter manner. So, guys, these are some of the things from my end, and we would appreciate you people to write answers and give it to us so that, like, we'll try to tell you where exactly you went wrong. Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot for your time. All the best if you have already written, and for those who are watching the video so that they can write better next time. So, like, if you're attempting next year's, then just try to ensure you write these answers and use our platforms to send these and get it evaluated. Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot.